DETV News is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
Hey everybody, it's April from DETV, and guess where I am at? I am here. I am at Nerdit. Nerdit has so many things that we use on an everyday basis. Everything in this place is at half off on a retail level. Let me just show you some of the things that we found here at Nerdit. We got laptops, Apple products, Dell products, all for very low prices. We got the Acers here. How many parents really don't have time to do family trips or whatever? We go in our backyard, we fill up this pool, boom, and you got the goggles to go with the pool. I ain't worried about the kids getting chlorine in their eyes. This is super cool. This will keep the kids engaged. The colors are bright and energetic. So y'all looking for the summertime water shoes for the kids? Nerdit now got Nike water shoes. Beauty Rest mattresses. Who needs a new mattress? What are these? Twin size, full size mattresses? Brand new mattresses in the bags, y'all. 16-inch fans, 12-inch fans, 5,000 BTU air conditioners, y'all. Spider-Man. This one might not be here either. I might buy this for my granddaughter. We got the Christmas scented smell goods. You getting ready for the holidays. We got the security cameras. You need to make sure that the house is protected when you're away. You got the Ninja. You got the food processors going on in here. Wow. You want the kids to run outside. You know they tearing up some stuff and we've got to replace them shoes every couple of months. Come on out here. All right, guys, this is April in the Small Business Network here over at DETV. Where you want me to go next? Put it in the comments and I am there.
Tonight, a Delaware town backs out of a federal immigration deal after backlash. What sparked the outrage and what advocates want Delaware to do next. Plus, thousands of birds stranded at a Delaware post office. How a local shelter is scrambling to save them. And Rehoboth Beach may crack down after wild teen gatherings spark talk of a youth curfew right before the popular Memorial Day weekend. Those stories, your local forecast, weekend events, and much more. DETV News begins now. Hello and welcome to DETV News for Wednesday, May 7th. I'm Matt Ford. Let's take a look at what's making headlines this week around Delaware. We begin today in Kent County, where the Camden, Delaware Police Department has withdrawn from a controversial agreement with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, following backlash from many civil rights activists and community members. ICE records show Camden, Delaware signed onto the agency's what's called 287G program on April 29th, so just last week, making it the first Delaware Police Department to enter the agreement, which allows local officers to enforce limited federal immigration laws under ICE oversight. Now, the agreement used the task force model, which authorizes officers to identify and process undocumented individuals during routine duties. The decision drew immediate criticism from the Delaware NAACP and the ACLU of Delaware, who warned that this move could erode trust with immigrant communities and lead to racial profiling. Now, on Tuesday of this week, Camden's police chief confirmed the department had pulled out of that agreement. House Democratic leaders later praised that move, calling it a thoughtful reevaluation of how local law enforcement resources should be used. The ACLU of Delaware also called on state lawmakers to ban similar agreements statewide. ICE reports more than 500 active 287G agreements exist currently across 39 states. To Sussex County now, where a pair of recent disturbances involving large groups of teens is prompting the popular beach town to consider a youth curfew ahead of the busy summer season. Here's what's happening. Police responded to the beach near Rodney Street back on April 30th for parking violations and found roughly 250 people gathered. Officers reported loud music and smoking, but said that the group was cooperative. Well, 2 days later, officers responded to a reported fight involving about 100 people. That was on Rehoboth Avenue. While no active fighting was seen upon arrival, 2 people were treated for minor injuries and a car was damaged there. The incidents mirror other trends that we've seen in beach towns around the state, where large youth gatherings, often organized on social media, have led to complaints of loitering, public drinking, and fights. Rehoboth Beach is currently the only major beach town in our area without a youth curfew. Dewey Beach and Bethany Beach both enforce curfews for those under 18 years of age that start at 11 p.m. City Manager Taylor Tedder said that he is considering an emergency curfew order until city commissioners can formally review this issue. Some residents of Rehoboth Beach support the idea, while others argue that it could be difficult to enforce or might even escalate tensions. Commissioners are expected to revisit the topic at their meeting next week. That's May 16th. Complicating matters is Rehoboth's installation of a new in-house solicitor, which isn't expected until May 27th, and that's of course after the busy Memorial Day weekend. We'll of course keep you posted there. Staying in Sussex, Milford police are investigating a fatal motorcycle crash over the past weekend when a Suzuki motorcycle struck a Chevy Malibu, turning into a residence on North Church Street. Police say the motorcycle attempted an illegal high-speed pass. The rider, 34-year-old Robert Pierce of Greenwood, Delaware, died at the hospital. The car's driver was not hurt. A passenger of that car, however, did sustain some minor injuries there. Witnesses are urged to contact Delaware Crime Stoppers. And listen to this, a bizarre story. Thousands of birds are recovering at a Delaware animal shelter after a cross-country shipping mishap left them stranded for days without any food, water, or ventilation. The First State Animal Center and SPCA says it received between 10 and 12,000 birds after the shipment was mistakenly rerouted to a Sussex County post office. Those birds, which came from a Pennsylvania hatchery, were meant for delivery to states including Texas, Ohio, and Florida. Instead, they were left in a hot U.S. Postal Service trailer for over 3 days, leading to the deaths of several thousand birds. Crews at the shelter say around 8,100 of those birds were still alive when they arrived, but unfortunately about 2,000 of that 8,000 died over the weekend. The Delaware Department of Agriculture is investigating how the shipment was misrouted in the first place. Shelter staff continue to care for the surviving birds, which include quail, ducks, geese, and chicks. Further north now, a 69-year-old Newark man is facing multiple charges after allegedly forcing a teenager into a hotel stairwell and making sexual advances. Delaware State Police say that Ashwani Kumar was arrested following an investigation into an incident at the Quality Inn on Jeffrey Drive in Stanton. Police say Kumar forced a 15-year-old into a stairwell, made inappropriate sexual conduct, and solicited the teen. An unknown witness entered the stairwell and confronted the man, allowing the victim to escape. Kumar is charged with a number of offenses, including sexual solicitation of a child and unlawful imprisonment. He was jailed on an over $14,000 cash bail. Anyone with information about this is asked to contact either Delaware State Police or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIP-3333, and of course, any tips can remain anonymous. Turning to consumer news tonight, listen up, Rite Aid has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy again. Citing ongoing financial struggles, the Philadelphia-based pharmacy chain announced just this week it had secured nearly $2 billion in financing to help keep most of its stores operational during the proceedings. Pharmacy services will remain available and customer prescriptions will be transferred to locations that are closing. Now, beginning June 5th, mark your calendars, Rite Aid will no longer honor gift cards or accept any returns. Rewards points and bonus cash will expire per current terms. Rite Aid, which operates nearly 30 stores here in the First State, previously filed for bankruptcy back in 2023 and emerged in 2024 with reduced debt and new ownership. However, the company still faced some steep losses and legal challenges tied to the opioid crisis. Rite Aid's CEO says the company's focus remains on preserving jobs and maintaining pharmacy access as it explores other potential buyers. And more news about consumption. Amazon is set to build a 3.2 million square feet fulfillment center just outside Middletown, Delaware, near Middle Neck and Warwick Roads. The new site, 3 times larger than the town's existing center, sits right near Route 301 and the Maryland line. Middletown officials approved the project earlier this year. While Amazon has not confirmed job numbers or a construction timeline, Mayor Ken Branner estimates 1,000 to 1,200 jobs could be created with state-of-the-art robotics and operations. Well, that's the buzz around big business, but if you're buzzing about what to do over your weekend, Shakara's got your back with sunshine, events, and those good vibes. What's going on, Shakara?
Hey there, Matt. I am here with your DETV weekend weather forecast, and this one's a good mix of sunshine, fun, and a whole lot of love as we head into Mother's Day weekend. Let's take a look at what's in store across our first state. For Feel Good Friday, we're kicking things off with a classic spring day. Partly sunny skies, a light breeze, and a high around 64 degrees. You might want a sweater for any evening plans you may have, as temps will cool off to about 48 degrees overnight. Now, Saturday's looking mostly dry with a mix of clouds and sun, maybe a brief sprinkle here or there, but nothing that will ruin your plans. Highs will be in the mid-60s, lows again in the low 50s. Now, here's the star of the weekend. Sunday is picture perfect. Sunny skies, light winds, and a high near 68 degrees. Overnight will settle into the low 50s. Now that you have your weather forecast, don't go anywhere because there are some great local events that you don't want to miss. On Friday, head to Winterthur Museum, Garden, and Library as they bring the Kentucky Derby style to Delaware. Enjoy a bourbon and whiskey tasting, live bluegrass by the Dill Pickle Old Time Orchestra, and access to the garden. For $65, you enjoy a Crown Blackberry and Lemonade cocktail, a Winterthur Rocks glass, a Southern-inspired snack box, live music, and access to the garden. This is an adult-only event, but there still will be access to the gardens and food and non-alcoholic drinks for designated drivers, students, and children under 12. This beautiful event will be outdoors, so bring a blanket and some chairs. For more info and other ticket prices, check out the Winterthur's website. Now for Shakara Spotlight, and this weekend, all eyes are on the Wilmington Flower Market. This beloved tradition runs from May 8th through the 10th at Rockford Park, and it's a whole vibe. Live music, rides, food vendors, local crafts, and of course, flowers are everywhere. But the Wilmington Flower Market is more than just a good time. In case you didn't know, it supports children's charities across the state. So when you stop by, you're not just having fun, you're giving back to the community too. And finally, a Mother's Day message to all the incredible mothers, grandmothers, aunts, stepmoms, mentors, and those who mother in spirit. We see you. We at DETV thank you, and this weekend we celebrate you. Here's to warm weather and making memories that last. Have a beautiful weekend, fam, and happy Mother's Day. Back to you, Matt.
Shakara, thank you. Lots of good stuff there as always, and happy early Mother's Day to you. We hope your son spoils you a little bit extra this weekend. In other headlines making news this week, Delaware lawmakers are back in session following their spring recess, but District 20 Representative Stell Parker Selby remains notably absent. Parker Selby has not attended Legislative Hall since the start of the session. Citing a medical issue back in January, she was also not publicly sworn in with other fellow legislators, but later took oath during a private ceremony in March, according to House leadership. In a message read at a recent Democratic committee meeting, Parker Selby says that she's eager to return to Legislative Hall and emphasized that her office does remain open and active in handling constituent concerns. Democratic officials say there's no discussion of a special election since she was officially sworn in. Now, Republican leaders did decline to comment, but acknowledged a routine meeting with the House Speaker is planned in the coming days. And Delaware's Public Education Funding Commission has delayed a vote on a new funding framework with key details still under discussion this week. At Monday's meeting, co-chair State Senator Laura Sturgeon said the group is likely to recommend a hybrid model combining the state's current system with more flexibility and weighted funding for high-need students, but members have yet to agree on the specifics. Some commissioners questioned why a full student-based funding model is not being explored. Sturgeon said building one could delay the process beyond the June 30th legislative deadline. The commission will revisit the issue at its next meeting. That's going to be June 2nd. In the meantime, Sturgeon plans to explore the cost and timeline of hiring a consultant to model that student-based option. Speaking of our students, the Indian River School District will hold 3 public meetings ahead of a June 5th referendum seeking $22.5 million in local funding to cover rising operating costs and support staff retention. District leaders will present details and answer questions at the following meetings: May 14th at Millsboro Middle School, May 21st at Lord Baltimore Elementary School, and May 28th at Indian River High School. Now, the referendum follows a failed attempt earlier this year. Voting will run from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 8 polling sites across the district. Superintendent Dr. Jay Owens says that the district is facing unsustainable deficits due to rising expenses in areas like transportation, utilities, and mental health services. He warns of further staffing cuts and program reductions without any new funding. More information is available at irsd.net/referendum or by calling the referendum hotline. That number is 302-436-1079. Milford School District surpassed Delaware's 15% suspension thresholds for multiple student subgroups in the 2023 to 2024 year. That's according to a state discipline report. Milford Central Academy and Milford High suspended low-income African-American male and disabled students at reportedly higher rates. Required to adopt the Department of Education's Discipline Improvement Plan, the district has already implemented proactive strategies. This includes staff training, support systems, surveys, and the Bridges program offering alternatives to suspension. School Climate Supervisor Jessica Weller says the district remains under threshold with 26 days left, crediting its multi-tiered support system for the progress. And the first state is just one step closer to launching its recreational marijuana industry. After a green light from the FBI, the federal agency has now issued a service code to Delaware's Office of the Marijuana Commissioner, meaning that background checks for license applicants can finally begin. Now, those who've been selected will be contacted this week to get fingerprinted and will have until June 6th to complete the process. If approved, they'll be issued a conditional license and have 18 months to become fully operational or risk losing it. This approval follows passage of House Bill 110, signed by Governor Matt Meyer last month, which clarified who needs a background check. The bill flew through the legislature after the FBI temporarily halted screenings over some language concerns. But one caveat remains. The FBI flagged the term agent in the law as being too broad, and state officials say that they will work with lawmakers to fix that language while still moving forward. License holders say it's a small but important win, but zoning issues, as we've reported, still remain a major hurdle. Senate Bill 75, which would limit county restrictions on where marijuana businesses can operate, has passed the Senate and is now awaiting a House committee hearing. We'll, of course, keep you posted. And before we leave you tonight, earlier this week, the Delaware Intellectual Property Alliance hosted a high-impact event at the Comores Building on Market Street in Wilmington, focusing on how businesses can protect and grow their ideas through intellectual property. The event featured speakers from Comores, the International Trademark Association, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, and Kia Labs, offering practical insights on trademarks, patents, and ethical intellectual property. Wilmington Mayor John Carney was also in attendance, while Senator Chris Coons shared remarks via video. Miriam Lord from the United States Copyright Office also delivered a special presentation. The evening wrapped up with a networking happy hour, drawing entrepreneurs, legal experts, and innovators from across the first state. For more on their upcoming events, you can visit the Delaware Intellectual Property Alliance website. And that wraps up this edition of DETV News. Be sure to follow us across your favorite social media platforms for more updates on what's happening all around Delaware. And if you have a comment, question, news, or sports tip, send it to press@detvch.com. For Shakara and all of us here at DETV, I'm Matt Ford. We'll see you right back here next week. Good night. We don't talk about prostate cancer enough, and it's the most diagnosed form of cancer and the second most common cause of cancer death among Black men in both Delaware and the United States. Approximately 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime, but just by asking your healthcare provider if you should get a screening could help you detect prostate cancer early and save your life. So let's talk about it. Talk to your healthcare provider today about a prostate cancer screening if you are 40 years of age or older, or have a family history of prostate cancer. If you don't have insurance, or if your insurance doesn't pay for cancer screenings, Screening for Life may provide you with the screenings that you need, and nurse navigators make this process easier. To learn more, visit healthydelaware.org/prostate or call 211. Ask your healthcare provider about a prostate cancer screening, and you're asking for so much more.
My name is Jason Aviles, and I am the founder and owner of Fly Yogi, and I'm here to share with you some tips to be able to help fight opioid addiction. Opioid addiction is a real growing problem here in America, and I'm here to share with you some tips that you can be able to integrate into your everyday life to really fight against opioid addiction. One of the first things is redeveloping your mindset. One of the practices that I like to use daily is meditation. And what meditation does is it brings you clarity of mind, and it helps keep you grounded, and it improves your ability to make decisions that you are going to benefit from. A lot of the time we find that addiction is rooted in our mindset. It's rooted in how we think and how we perceive, and therefore how we act. So this is a really good way to help fight against that energy of addiction. The second thing is improving your lifestyle through diet and exercise. At the very root of addiction, there is substances within the body that's causing the addiction on a physical level. When we begin to introduce healthier foods, plant-based foods, we begin to remove and detox the substances that are in our body that's causing and attracting the addiction. So through incorporating more fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, and even drinking water on a daily basis, you're going to put your body in a state where it's going to be able to fight the root causes of these addictions. The second part is exercise. Exercise is good for mood. It's good for energy. It's good to increase vitality. It's good to get your heart pumping and get your blood flowing and get oxygen moving throughout the body. So through engaging in physical exercise, complemented by incorporating healthier foods, you're putting your body and your mind in a state where it does not want what's causing these things that are manifesting negatively in your life. So addiction can really be decreased by just incorporating a healthier lifestyle through diet and nutrition, exercise, and then also making sure that you're tackling the mind through mindset, through meditation.